Hi friends, welcome to yet another session to Thinking on Destiny. In the last three sessions, we have reviewed and again we revised the topics to get ready for the new topic, Psychic Destiny, which we are going to start today. Before we go into the actual subject, let us connect to the consciousness of Percival. Then let the knowledge, let his wisdom flow through me, through every one of us. Let us meditate for a few minutes. Please sit in a meditative posture. Cross your legs, clasp your hands, and close your eyes. Please remove your eyewear. We don't need it now. Please observe your soft, tranquil breath. The soul enters into this physical body through this breath form only. And we live on this earth as long as we are able to breathe. Focus on that breath. As Buddha says, once you are with your breath, your mind cannot waver anywhere. Stay with your breath. Please take complete inhalation. Fill up your lungs. And slowly exhale. And exhaling, exhale all your negative emotions. Stay with a positive thinking. Stay with miraculous thoughts. Let us not think that we cannot understand this book or Percival wisdom. We all given equal opportunity. When Percival can get this knowledge from universe, you and me are equally capable. We have equal opportunity to understand his wisdom. Be with your friends. Stay. Observe how vital energy is flowing through breath to various parts of your body. Please place your hands on your eyes for a few seconds and open your eyes with a beautiful smile on your face. Ready to go to the wisdom.
Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you for that wonderful meditation. Namaste, friends. Please welcome to Thinking on Destiny Book Club, organized by PMC USA. I'm Deepika here, your host for today. Humble pranams to our beloved Guruji, Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji and Swarnamala Patri ma'am for showing us this slide. Last week, we continued with the revision of the chapters we dealt in the last 20 weeks. So, again all the topics. Today we are going to move to the new chapter, Psychic Destiny. Let us see what we have in store in this chapter for us. Please welcome Prasanna for the next chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepika. Yeah, we saw a physical destiny for almost like 4 or 5 classes, and also we devised the entire physical destiny in the last class. Before we go to the psychic destiny, so physical destiny we can easily understand, right? Because the physical destiny is that is visible to our mortal eyes. So what is visible, what we are experiencing with our eyes and with our senses is a physical destiny. So what is the psychic destiny? So before we go to that psychic destiny, we will also revise one of the concepts. So saying that everything, so all our physical body, if you take, physical body is just made up of with the 5 elements, all Panchabhutas, right? So the physical body doesn't have any of that intelligent, or it is just the matter. So once that breath is out, once the soul is out from the body, then this is just the dress that you wear for this particular lifetime, and it will go. The heat will go to the sun, and the matter will go to the earth, and everything. All the 5 will go to the 5 Panchabhutas. They will mingle. So you will left with your soul. So soul is going. So that you are leaving your dress, but the soul is again traveling, right? So there is no death. Accordingly, there is no death. Only thing is you are taking a dress, this body as a dress, and you are experiencing this life. And once you are done with this, and you are just moving off. Again, done with this is again what he always says is done with this body is just that thought. If you think that you are not go, so we believe that when we wage, we may die. That is actually the belief. How many times we would have, at 70s we can do this, after retirement we can do this, at 60s we can do it, when we don't have energy we will do it. So that kind of thoughts, right? So you are making up your own destiny. Why can't we think that we will be energetic forever, we will be young forever, we will always be beautiful, we always have energy? We are not thinking that way. We are thinking, now I'm in 40s, I can't do all the things that I did it in 20s. Now I'm in 50s, I can't do all the things that I did it in 30s. Something like that. So we are all, you or me, we are all actually believing ourselves that at this age we cannot do certain things, or we are aging, or this body is bound to decay. So because we are believing that, it is happening. If you are not believing, if you believe that you can be young forever, you can do all the things forever, then you can become immortal. It is all your thinking. If you think the body is immortal, you can go with the body, then that is possible. That is what the thinking and destiny, he is always, everything he is thinking. It is all depends upon your thinking only. Here, if you think that you are immortal, then you will be immortal. If you think that you are immortal, then you will be mortal. If you think that at 50s your energy will get dried, your energy will get dried. So whatever you believe in yourself, that is the only thing that is happening. Okay, believe in that. Okay, so that's what he is saying here. So the psychic destiny, if I take, is a name, like kind of like 2 kinds of destiny. One kind is the form destiny. The psychic destinies, one is the form destiny, the form that it is happening affects the nature matter from the form plane, not just the physical plane. From the form plane itself, it affects the nature matter and has to do chiefly with the prenatal influences. Before you, prenatal influences itself, it will happen. The other is strictly the psychic destiny that has to do with the states in the psychic atmosphere of the doer and affects the doer after the birth of the body. So this is what here is called psychic destiny. So here he is saying that two things in the psychic destiny, two things. One happens the prenatal and the one happens after the birth was given. So after the influence, the doer, once the whatever the influence that the doer is getting it, right? So that's why we have said within 7 years, the baby, before 7 years, whatever that impressions you are giving, whatever that self-esteem you are filling with the child, or whatever the impressions you are giving on that particular kid, that is the only thing that she or he started believing in. That soul will started believing it, because that psychic destiny is actually imparting. The circumstances will give him or her that. So the things that are before that, the prenatal, so whatever the impressions that he or she thought in the previous life, whatever that, those things will be influenced by, that's a form destiny. So these are the two places this psychic destiny can happen. Form destiny is the thought so far advanced towards the exteriorization of the elements have already built in the form of the future physical act or an object or an event. So this is the form, which is future. Suppose future I wanted to become, let us take from now to 5 years, I want to become this. So I have some destiny. In future I have some destiny. So I want to become this. So then you will work towards it. That's why people will say one should have an aim to live, a destination to reach, or something. If you don't have any goal in your life, then you will not become anything, because you are not thinking about to go and become something. You do not have anything idea. When you have some goal, then you will try to reach it over there. When you do not have any goal, then life will go on passively. Whatever it comes, you will be just taking it. So the goal is also very important. Here, the destiny, whatever the exteriorization, it has to happen, means you have to think that way, right? You have to think that you wanted to become. So we always say that for the kids, we will ask like what you will become, what you will do, all the things kids will ask. But did you ever ask what you want to become? You just have studied your studies long back and you became something, some job you settled in. But after that, what you want to become? So that kind of goal or that kind of aim also we should have it. Then that will come to, that is the future thing, what you want to become. If you have it, that will form in the form plane. Whatever thoughts you are releasing, that will become a form in the form plane, and that comes into the physical destiny later. So you should always have that kind of goal. So in the next 2 years, that's why it is always in the management lectures, you will say that next 5 years, what do you want to become? Next 10 years, what do you want to become? So you should have that kind of vision. That's what it is. So that appearance, that whatever you want to become, that if you prepare yourself, that thoughts you are releasing to the form world, and that only it will come and happen in the physical world. Okay. I didn't remember somebody saying, but I'm just remembering. I have a picture, one, because I like a girl child. So somebody, when I'm pregnant, someone gave me one beautiful girl picture, and they asked me to keep that picture in your bedroom and you can just see that one. Okay. So every time I'm just imagining my daughter will be like that. I'll get a daughter, and the daughter will be like that. Her features will be like that. Something, that picture I still remember in my mind, the hair and all, right? So when I see my daughter, I feel like the same thoughts came. So maybe this is what actually I manifested. By constantly thinking about something, constantly looking for a particular thing, right? So that's how you can manifest the thing. So here, whatever the thoughts you are releasing, that form in the form world, that form world, whatever that, when the junction, there are 3 things that has to come, right? Physical plane, the time, condition and place. The time, condition and place, when all the 3 things were coming, then it will give an entrance into the physical world. So from the form world, which is there in the radiant substrates, it will come into the physical destiny. So then it will become the physical destiny. Okay, this happens when the thought, when the thought you have released, that will form in the form plane, which is intersect the cycle at least with one another and same with the other person. All the physical destiny comes out of the ether. All the physical destiny, where it is come, it is all, everywhere we have ether. It is coming out of the ether. So it is already forming in somewhere. Where it is forming, it is in the form world. It is already forming. It is coming to the physical world with the solid matter. It comes through a radiant, airy and fluid states to the physical plane. So as a solid matter, it comes later when the time, condition and place occurs at the same time. There it appears as a sensible, tangible actions and conditions produced by the elementals of causal, portal form and structure kinds under the control of the structural element. So when it comes, then it comes to this physical plane. When all these thoughts, whenever you are releasing all the thoughts will be there in the form world, and that thoughts will come into this physical world when all the conditions were satisfied. A small part can be precipitated at one time. So whatever the thoughts you release, a small part can be precipitated, it comes. Because the time, condition and place, these are the three things: time, condition and place, which are different from the physical plane, limit amount of the form destiny that can come through. All in the thought has become the form is a destiny. Its arrival in a physical state may be postponed, but cannot be permanently avoided. So whatever the thoughts you are released, it may get postponed, but it cannot be avoided. That will come. Whatever the psychic. So that is why recently I heard another lecture in the Seth workshops. There also they're saying, suppose you are releasing like 3 thoughts at one time. Today, 7 o'clock, I want to do this. Okay, I want to do this lecture. At the same time, I want to do something else also. At the same time, I want to do something else in some other place. But when it comes to the priority, I will say, okay, whatever that committed, whatever I have class is my commitment, so I'm taking this. But because I released the 3 different thoughts, all the 3 different thoughts will be realized. Only thing is the first thought, which is a dominant thought, is realizing my current life. The same soul will have a parallel lives, which will be all those thoughts also will get realized. That is why whenever you are releasing a thought, no matter whether it is happening here or not, whether it is happening now or not, it will get realized. So always be careful when you are releasing the thoughts. Here he is saying, whatever the thoughts you are releasing, it is going in the form world, and the form world it is actually forming. When time, condition and place is occurring, it is coming to the physical plane. Psychic destiny is all relates to the human who is conscious of your feeling and desire. So whenever you want to have that feeling and desire, you should be very conscious. Consciously, you just have it. If you have unconsciously, if you have some of the thoughts, then those thoughts also will get realized. So then you may have to feel bad. So consciously, the psychic destiny is very important. Is saying that it is all relating to the human who is a conscious of his feeling and desire. So here he is saying that psychic destiny has 6 classes. Every time the 6 classes will be referred in this entire psychic destiny sessions. All the 6 classes will be referred. So let us remember. The first class is the feeling of pleasure or a pain when your physical body is affected by contact. Suppose now I have this Sprite with me. This I'm just actually physical. It has a physical contact with me. So this is having a cold or hot, whatever, right? So when this is coming to the physical contact, I am able to feel something. Okay, that's a physical contact. Suppose I may touch something very hot. That's a physical contact. I say that, oh, it is hot. Something like that. When it comes to the physical contact, if you are feeling that, then it is called or I took the knife, oh, it is very sharp. When I'm cutting it, I feel like it is very sharp. When other knife, if I'm cutting it, oh, this is not sharp, I'm not able to cut properly. So this is the physical act that it is happening, right? So when something is coming in touch with your physical body, it is affecting your physical body, you are deriving joy, pleasure, pain, sorrow, or whatever it is, right? The doer in the physical body is getting affected because of that contact. Then that is the one first kind of thing, first kind of physical psychic destiny. The second kind of psychic destiny is when one person is getting a message, or he is getting some phone call, something, he is not in a physical destiny, some message or some news, he got it. So with the kind of thing, with the recipient of a message, or you are getting an anticipation. So you got that you have a lottery ticket, and your lottery ticket number was given, and that number is got some $1 million. Then with that news, you got so much pleasure. Okay. So, or somebody somewhere in your India, somebody is not feeling well. Then you got pain with that news, or sorrow with that news. So the second kind of thing is, second is a feeling of joy or a sorrow. The doer is getting affected without physical contact. There's no physical contact. Your body is not actually touched anything, but still you got affected. Then that kind of thing is the second kind of the second class of the psychic destiny. First class is the one with the physical contact. Second is one without the physical contact, a recipient of a message, or anticipation of some pleasure, or some kind of good news or bad news or whatever, right? Some anticipation. Then it is a thing. The third class of the psychic destiny is the most important one. Here we are discussing is the character of a human being. His disposition, his endowments, sentiments, instincts, virtues, vices. This is the makeup comes into the from before the birth and last through the life and for some time after the birth also. So this is a character. It comes even before the birth. It is actually built within that first cell itself. So many things. Okay. So these are the which very important. So is here the psychic destiny is talking about when it is coming already the nature. So how can we change it? When we know that it is not the right thing, can we change it? Can we change the psychic destiny? Can we change the personality? Definitely we can change the personality. Definitely we can change anything. What the thinking and destiny is saying is you can even change your destiny by thinking. Nothing is permanent, because if you in your karmic bondage, you have some time that you have to have it. But by understanding the knowledge, you can even wipe off your karmic bondage and you can just advance well. That is what we are saying right here. So when we can even rewrite our destiny, so why not the character? Even we can write it. But in third class is the character of the human being. This makeup comes the being before birth and being after the birth also. This character goes on. The fourth one comes when you are not in touch with your senses. When you will be not in touch with your senses? When you are in a sleep. Okay. When you are asleep, you are in the restoration mode. Actually, because in the meditation also you are in the restoration mode only. Because you are not, you are actually switching off the outer world and you are traveling inward. But here we are talking about not meditation, sleep. Sleep, when it's a body is completely restoration and just getting energy, your dreams or some of the adjustments are being made even in the dreams. Suppose you have to get some pain, some pain in your life, but you understood and you want to rewrite your destiny and then happen. So some of the adjustments, how it will happen is, some of the things might happen in the dreams. Some bad dreams you'll think. So some of your sorrows are happening in the dreams, and in those few moments of the pain may go. You are adjusting. That is called the adjustment. The adjustments can be made in the adjustments of the doer can be made there with the dreams also. Okay, it's similar to this is the same sleeping or dreaming or relaxing or holding relaxing your senses. Without holding off your senses, you are relaxing. That is the fourth one. And the fifth one is the death itself, or the process of the death. How actually the death process is happening. That is the fifth one, the fifth class. And sixth class is shown in the psychic conditions which the doer passes after death during the periods of his metapsychosis, heaven, or transmigrations or re-existence, whatever that you are actually transmitting from this life to the next, or all these things is the sixth sense. So these are all the six classes that we have. Okay, mostly we will be focusing on the first, the physical. We already, something that is coming, the physical contact, we already did it. Something which we are not in a physical contact, how it affects, we all know. And third one is about the character, and fourth one is about sleep, and fifth one is about death, and sixth one is about after death. These are the six. Always remember in the psychic destiny, because these things will get repeated in each section. Okay. The first of these things, three things are directly affected by psychic destiny. Three things are directly affected by psychic destiny. What are the three things? The AIA, the breath form, and the doer. So you always have the doubt, what is this AIA, right? So we will discuss today. We are saying that from nature matter, through AIA, we are going to the intelligent matter. Always saying this is a nature matter. Through AIA, you are going to the intelligent matter. That is what we are discussing, right? So what is that? So this psychic destiny is affecting three things. That is, AIA is the one, the breath form is the second one, and the doer, third one. Okay, these are the three things that is getting affected by the AIA. The first of these things is AIA. What is this AIA actually? This is the principal form of the human being. Very, very principal form of the human being. It is the matter in a very neutral state. Everything comes again the matter, right? It's a matter, but it is in a very neutral state. Matter in which no longer, there won't be any nature matter, but it is not yet intelligent matter. Nature matter, it crossed, but it is not yet intelligent matter. It is in between. So that is that matter is AIA. It does not belong to any of the four worlds. All the four worlds that we are saying, radiant world, form world, all the worlds, it is not belong to any of the four worlds of the earth sphere. The AIA is just like a mathematical point, where once you reach, you can just, from there, you can just, suppose if you say, right, if I just put any item, it will come back because of the earth gravity, that you know. But there is a point where if you just throw beyond that point, because beyond that earth gravity, that it won't come. Because if you cross that earth gravity, it will not come, right? So there is a point where it will not come. There's a point, right? So here also, these nature units are one side. There is a one point, that mathematical point is an AIA, where once you reach the AIA, then you will not come to the nature matter. You will always travel to the intelligent matter only. You will not come back. You will not come back and fall back. We all, if you see, whenever we listen to this kind of book clubs or meditations or anything, we will be very peaceful. We will say, no, from now onwards, we should be like this. We should not harm anybody. We should not hurt anybody through our words or thoughts or anything. So we all think, because we all having the same kind of empathy, same kind of compassion, same kind of that God particle is there. We are all the same. But why we are again doing the mistakes? Because we are going back to the society and again mingling up and going back. So we are actually going back and forth in the nature matter. But once that nature matter, once you reach to a point, that point is in AA, then you will not come back. You will always go onto the travel into the intelligent unit only. That point, if I take, right, it's a balanced unit. That's what the point is, a balanced unit. You will not distinguish good or bad. You will not distinguish male or female. You are very balanced unit. Unit AA point, once you are reached, you are very balanced unit. You are not actually finding fault with anybody. You are not doing anything, means anything, you are not doing it. You are such a matured kind of matter you will become. So from that maturity, once you got that kind of maturity, you will not fall back. So that is where the AIA point is there. Okay. So it doesn't have any parts. The AIA, if you take, it does not have any form. It does not have any dimension. It has neither parts nor size. It cannot be perceived by our four senses. Where that AIA, you cannot perceive because it is beyond your senses. So you cannot perceive with the four senses. The AIA comes out of the substance as a unit of fire. Small particle, when the fire is happening, right? Small, so many particles it will come. The fire particles, the light kind of light particles it will come, right? That comes. The AIA is that kind of small substance as a unit of fire, progress through all degrees of the nature matter, progress to the all degrees of the nature matter and becomes an AIA. And it is, once it becomes AIA, it is destined to become a triune self. It is destined to be the part of the government. So it will automatically go. Being below the human stage, being below the human stage have no AIAs. Being, if you are below this, below the human stage, there is no AIAs. At the time of conception, the AIA, which is itself without the form, without dimension, re-verifies the form of the breath form, which is the distinguished from the radiant astral form of the human. So this is how it is actually. The AIA, the revives the form of the breath form, which is to distinguish from the radiant astral form of the human. So the radiant astral form of the human, the AIA stays there with the astral form of the human. The AIA will be there. It is not with the physical. It will be in the radiant astral form of the human. The second of the three things. What is the second? First one is AIA. What is the second one? We talked about. Third one is the doer, right?
Breath form.
What is the second?
Breath
form. Second one is breath form. The second of the three forms is affected by psychic destiny is the breath form. Has an active side, which is the physical breath. Active side, which is like our breath. We are focusing on our physical breath, right? That is active side. And which is the physical breath. And passive side, the form, which is already formed in the form world, which receives the impressions from the senses and from the doer when it thinks. The AIA stands back of the breath form through the life and after the death until the breath of the breath form is put out the phase with the form. So it will be there. The breath form means in the breath form, whatever we are saying is not the physical breath. It is the one side, active side is the physical breath. The other side, the passive side is actually the form world. Whatever the thoughts you are releasing, as I told you, all the thoughts are becoming a reality in the form world. Only thing you are not able to see you and me are not able to see with the mortal eyes, but all the thoughts are getting realized in the form world. Okay. That form world, where this particular AIA is standing, it is behind this form world of the breath form. It is staying there. Putting there it is watching it. It can be there. The breath form is actually, he mentioned the word. I just went on because I was not known. He said harlot. Harlot means it's a prostitute. The word is prostitute. So harlot or an angel. It can work as because once the doer, because once it's a harlot or an angel for the nature of the doer. So doer, whatever he thinks, right, it will act accordingly. Even though we say that, right, even though the supreme, the Atma is there, the soul is there, it will not say anything. The soul is a knower. He is not the thinker or anything, right? He is not the doer or thinker. He is the knower. The soul is the knower. It is there. The soul is within us, but he cannot. The soul knows everything, but when we are doing something, what it is doing, soul is just sitting back and enjoying. If you remember my one of the picture that I show you, that the four senses like this, the Sri Krishna, that it is going right with all the chariot, the four senses that he is saying, the Krishna is sitting back and enjoying what the others are doing. The Krishna is here is our soul. The soul, the knower part of it. Here what he is saying is that AIA part, which is the in between unit, right? The AIA will be there, but it will not direct you anything. If the doer wants to be prostitute, be prostitute. If the doer want to be angel, be angel. Okay. Whatever it wanted to do, it will just help to do it. It will not say anything because you have that complete freedom. Even though
You came with karmic bondage. You have that complete freedom. You came with some strongest impressions, but you can still modify. You can still do that. Okay. It responds to the call that makes the strongest impressions. So that's what it responds to the call that makes the strongest impressions. You have 100 thoughts in your mind to do that time. Whatever the thought that you made the strongest impressions, that thought, it responds. It helps you to do that. It obeys man's base desires. Whatever you desire, it obeys. So it all depends upon you, what you are desiring, what you are actually desiring for you. Yet it is the angel, because it is simply obeying your thoughts. You cannot say that I didn't think of, I didn't get it. If you are so you thought sometime, that is why you got it. So it is simply obeying. But once it is purified, suppose once that particular AIA unit is purified, it will take you to heaven, because it will not. Once it is get purified, means all the nature units once you crossed. That's what I'm saying. Where I can reach, you are all having that every time. The Percival is saying, okay, go all mature the nature words and go to AIA, then you will become intelligent. How to reach that? Through among ourselves, there are so many tests every day you are facing, so many people you are interacting, so many things you are facing, so many incidents you are facing. You check yourself, how you are responding. Okay, whenever you are checking how maturely, whatever the wisdom that you got in, whether we are able to incorporate that wisdom so in our life, whether we are able to see that our situation as a situation, not taking into our heart, not getting affected by it. That's how we have to evolve ourselves. When some tough situations comes in your life, so those situations will help you to become stronger, will help you to reinvent yourself. So that's how you have to take it. So those are the strong impressions of whether you want to, when some pain comes, whether you want to sit in a pain or whether you want to act upon. There are two things always. How do you react, right? So some people will sit, simply cry. So things will go take their own turn. Some people take the situation in their hands, act accordingly. So they wanted to, even in that situation, they wanted to do the things in the way, the manner they wanted. They are taking situation in their hands. So that is what here, whatever the thing, the strongest impression that you are taking, your inside unit is actually the breath form of that particular within you is obeying you. It is trying to help you. So it will just simply obey you like an angel. So you just have to take and you just have to give the strongest impression. It is the most delicately sensitive thing. It has no inclination of right or wrong, good or bad, health or disease, nothing. It just responds to the impressions you made upon it. Whatever impressions you are making, you are projecting. You are projecting in a form world, and it is again coming to the physical reality. So while you are projecting, you always be careful. The breath form does with the physical body whatever it is bidden to do by senses or by the doer. The breath form does with the physical body whatever it is bidden to do by the senses or by the doer. Whatever sense, suppose if my sense, my tongue wants some taste, I want to eat some sweet. So the breath form helps you to get it. My senses want some pleasure. The breath form helps you to get it. Whatever your senses are your doer, or my soul, whatever I want to do it, that will, suppose my soul wants to learn so much of the soul knowledge. This, I wanted to know what happened after death. What is this? I wanted to know. Then your breath form within you will also help you to keep connecting you to the concerned book clubs or concerned classes, and it will help you. So whatever you wanted to do it will help you. It is in the this breath form is in your involuntary nervous system. It is there within your involuntary nervous system, and it sits in a brain, in the pituitary gland. That's why they say that, right? So whenever you are actually activating that, then you will get, you will be elevating your you, in so many meditations you would have heard about this, right? So the same thing. So you should, that is sitting in that particular place. It offers that no resistance unless it is bidden to resist. It won't resist anything unless you yourself are trying to, you wanted to do that, Again, you will resist. You want to do that. I wanted to work hard and get the seat in something. But again, I'm lazy to work hard. I'm resisting myself to work hard. So unless you yourself wanted to resist, otherwise it won't resist. Whenever you want to work hard, it will always try to help you to do that. So it will always, suppose you wanted to wake up and do work hard and do studies. See, sometimes whenever you are liking something, whenever you want to do something, even the 4 hours of sleep is also enough for you. You are able to do that. Why you are able to do that? When some marriage is happening, it's so much pleasure, right? That day you won't even sleep, but still you will be energetic. The reason is because you are loving and you wanted to do the things. That's why anything you wanted to do, the breath form, it will help you by sitting in your pituitary gland. Okay. The physical destiny of the body is worked through the breath form. Element cells build up a radiant, solid or astral body, and thereby airy, fluid and solid bodies or masses are invisible marks are impressed on the breath form. Whatever this breath form, whatever that you are thinking, it is there in the form world and it is coming as a radiant astral world. It is there and it is coming to the physical destiny when time, place and condition occurs. All living beings are things that have been in the world of change, from gnat to elephant, from toadstool to a star, from devil to God, get their forms through the breath forms of human beings after death. So everybody get their forms through breath form only. These breath forms express the nature and impressions they born as a record of the human thinking and thoughts. Expression into the nature forms is automatic. Elementals of causal, portal, form, structure kinds are obey. So these are all the breath form cannot be seen by the clairvoyants. The clairvoyants, some people, they say that I'm a clairvoyant. They can see like if the soul is coming, or some things they can see, the things that which you cannot see with your mortal eyes. So those people are called, you can just search and see who are the clairvoyants, right? You can know more about it. Those people also, they cannot see these breath forms, how they are actually moving. That which sometimes called the phosphorescent or luminous or star-like in the astral radiant solid body, in the astral plane, these breath forms are there before conception. So you may see that. So when the breath forms are there in the astral bodies, and how do you think a person is born? So you know that when a man and woman with the copulation, you can give the reproduction, or we can form that cell, and then the multiplying and dividing, you are actually giving a birth of a kid, right? So that is what we know. But when we are here, they are saying that all these breath forms are there in the astral plane as just some particle kind of thing. So how does that is coming? Any idea? Anybody can wanted to explain? I'll just take a break, 30 seconds. Any idea? Anybody want to tell?
Yeah, the way I look at Samadhi, I think the soul is not yet entered the womb. It is the breath that begins, and slowly the form is basically entering through the father into the mother's egg. And that is a chance that somebody has to take, because there will be a million cells that will go and try to fertilize the egg, and still it can miss. So it is the breath form is the one that is actually giving shape to the form of the form. And after entering and after actually the conception happens, then I think the soul starts negotiating with it, saying that, okay, I am entering now.
How it will enter? You are right to most of the extent, but how it enters? That's any idea?
The way I look at it, it enters through the breath again. The soul exists everywhere. Soul can enter easily through any of one of the entry points to the body.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, sir. Yeah, this is what I just, I'm very happy to hear.
But one thing that people should realize is that soul is not in the body at the time of conception. The conception happens by just a contract, the understanding between the souls of the mother, soul of the father, and the soul that is to be born. And it could slip anytime because the contract doesn't have to be executed. That's why abortions can go on still. Or that's why the conception itself do not even happen. In spite of the fact that the male sperm consists 1 million cells at a time, it still doesn't matter. Until the whole contract is crystallized, it would not materialize into the cell that with life. That life is the breath form that we are talking about.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you, sir. So let us go. Thank you. So that is what here it is. The physical body, that whatever, right? So the physical, before the conception of the physical body, the AIA is in the psychic atmosphere. It is there in that atmosphere. So the A, the small unit, is there in the, there is a, it revives, it is in the revives form destiny, right? It is in the breath form only. It is in the breath form, in the form. Gradually, this breath form sinks into the light plane. Sinks into light plane of the physical world. It comes to the, from the form, it comes to the light plane of the physical world. As it is lowered, it is coming to the lowered, the matter of the light plane to the form matter, and from form to the physical world. So from light to the form and form to the physical world, the invisible breath form, it is still in the invisible breath form only, which begins to glow. Somewhere it began to glow, but it is there in the thing. The ember is in the ember in the sense it's a spark kind of thing, right? It is just some spark kind of thing coming into the life. And this ember is the breath form of the future physical human. This ember, this small light particle kind of thing, right? That is the breath form of the future physical being. So in the future, as just now, I think Ramakrishna Garu, I think who explained. So as he explained, at the copulation, he said, which is in the intercourse of the parents, right? This breath form enters. So it may or may not enter in the same time, as he explained, but it enters the in the atmosphere. It comes in that atmosphere. Okay, this breath form enters into the atmosphere of the physical atmosphere. It enters, flashing with the lightning speed through the breaths. Through the breaths only it enter. It is actually the physical form is only, the cell is only forming with that intercourse or anything that the sperm is going to the egg and all. That is all the physical thing. But this form is actually coming to the breath form, and their breaths, it is entering through their breaths and blood along with their nerves, and then later form the breath form blends the radiant part of the seed cell with the radiant part of the soil cell. Seed cell to the soil cell, seed and soil. That's what he is saying. Male is seed cell and the female is a soil cell. With this frames is the vortex is formed at the blending. Radiant matter begins to flow vortex, so builds up the radiant or a astral body. So that's where. Then once this breath form enters, this cell is the soil, the cell that formed the facade, it get multiplied, it get divided, it get multiplied. The cells are division and multiplication is happening. Then it is happening the fleshy body according to the model of the radiant body. By that time, when it is actually happening, this breath form enters and it is getting divided, because it is already having some kind of thing. Impressions are already there, right? So through that impressions, then the physical body comes from the parent, hereditary and all those things. Will say that yes, it comes to the parent, but this particular breath form, whoever wants to enter, it chooses that kind of circumstances and enters it. Okay, that is the thing. The physical cell divide, multiply, and get the fleshy bed. The astral body is a radiant matter which now begins to change and take the visible embryonic forms, leading eventually the human forms in the inside. The general form has remained and will remain the same throughout the present period of the human progress and not cared about outside, carved out by the thoughts of each person in the preceding life. This is carved out by the thoughts of each person in the preceding life. So in the beginning, as I told you, at the depth of the thing, you will be the seed cell. You'll have some thought when you want to born, what is the next, what is the lifespan of the next life cycle. Those things are already there in that particular seed. So all that is in the breath form, and it is in the it is there in the astral form. Now it came to the one particular cell and it started. So whatever that preceding life, whatever that cell has stored, that started exhibiting in the physical form. An individual determines by his thoughts in one life, the changes will be brought through his AIA for the succeeding life, whatever the individual bought. So that's why many people will ask, right? So what is happening? So when the life after life it is happening, to this life I learned so many things. Yeah, and again the next life started again. I have to start from first grade. Yeah, I agree. But that is only for your normal physical sciences or physical studies. But here, whenever you learn some kind of knowledge, this kind of soul knowledge or self-knowledge, right? Instead, so that self-knowledge, when you learn this particular lifetime, when you achieve to a certain grade level, when it comes to the next life, your situations will be such a way that you will reach to that stage very soon. And you start learning from that stage onwards. That I can see in many people, and even in myself, I can see. So many years I am not in touch with all of these things. But once I'm like a crazy. I learned like so many books. I learned so many things. I attended n number of classes. I tried to grab all the knowledge that it is. So once I was there to a stage where I learned from the previous life, once you reach, then again you started learning it. It is not that you will not stop the thing. That is why some people who are in 20s, they will be very advanced level in this kind of spiritual. Some people who are in 60s and 70s are also not. We cannot see their age, physical age of this body. We have to see their soul age. Okay. From the time of conception, the form grows from the state of glowing amber. That glowing amber right, gives the form of a radiant matter of the cells of the embryo, which is drawn into the vortex. So it builds up the radiant body according to that, to the airy, fluid and fleshy bodies. The form which expands the reproduction form of the last life of the doer, with the variations and features, habits, tendencies, health or disease, in which his parts thoughts will be exteriorized at the proper age of the fleshy body. During the fetal development, the breath of the breath form is separated from its form, but will again unite with it the birth of the body. During the fetal development, so sometimes this is also we saw, right? Some of the souls, I think I told in some other class, sometimes once it is started, right? The cell is growing. Sometimes the breath form may not be there in that. Still the cell grows. It may join at the time of birth. It may join at the time. Some of the souls don't want to have that process at the pain of birth from the mother's womb to outside world also. That time also the breath form will go out and see how that pain mother is taking up. Once it was born, then the soul enters into the body. That is also we have seen in other examples or other book clubs, right? The same thing is explaining. If the prenatal state or the AIA reawakens some of the impressions of the past lives, so provides the signatures on the form of the breath form will be quickened at the proper reason into the characteristics of the human being. Not only the future physical formation, the psychic traits or the form of the breath form is rudimentary, symbolic and magic outlines that are sketched signatures for the future success or the failure. So you, with the previous life, you are actually getting all the traits. So whatever the traits, that the thoughts that has to be exteriorized, you are getting. Not only that, some of the traits also you are getting from the past life. That is what he is saying. It is from the nature build up finer bodies and then fleshy bed and the form the coordinates and the form to coordinate this body and the form, and unites this form and then it unites this particular form, whatever the form has, the form with the breath form. From birth to death, the breath form is coordinating formative unit, which gives the form to holds the four senses, the systems, organs, cells, molecules, atoms, particular elements which are function through these into. So some may call this AIA as subconscious mind or unconscious mind or subconscious self or inner consciousness. So now hope everybody was clear about what is this AIA. So here once you know, because these are all the terms which we are all familiar, right? Subconscious, unconscious, or inner consciousness. We could talk about consciousness. We have been talking. But when the Percival is using AIA, we are feeling like something different. But that's what is. This may be called as this. It obeys whatever makes the clearest and deepest impressions. It obeys the impulses of the nature and carrying the involuntary functions. It obeys conscious or unconscious self-suggestion, or it will act on a lie, such as that rooted disease does not exist, but it will be only obey the impression as long as that is the strongest. That's what. You may release 100 thoughts, whichever it will obey to the strongest option, whatever the impression that you are giving, that strongest option that yourself acts. You may want to do 10 things at the same time, but what is your strongest desire? If you are too lazy, if you are not too lazy to get up from your coach, even though your mind is thinking 10 things to do, 10 things to achieve, if your body is actually thinking that I want to take rest, if that is the strongest impression, you cannot get up and you cannot do anything. Okay, where your energy goes, where your thought is going, where you are actually giving a strongest impression, that's where it is going. The breath form plays important part in feeling. The doer can feel the physical object only if it's the physical body contacts the object. This contact is transmitted through nerves to the finer bodies and transmit the impressions in the breath form. So the doer makes the contact through breath form. So this lines up the relates the doer impressions are received. During the waking life, in normal life, right, the breath form is connected with the doer. It is always connected with the doer. But during the sleep mode, the doer is out of touch with it. So when you are sleeping, that is what we say. When you are sleeping, the astral body goes out and travels, gets energy. It may experience some of the things and come. So if you are, because I'm using those things because that's nothing but whatever that he is doing, he is saying, right? The breath form is going out. Where it is going to the astral world. How it is using the astral body. Your body is same kind of thing. The astral body is there. So compared to physical body, astral body is having a long life. Because your form is happening in the astral plane and it is coming to the physical world. Even after you leave the physical world, still astral body exists. And then we all learned astral body is having a 19 parts, and then the one is the soul, and then these 5 parts, that Panchabhutas come together. The 25 parts is the body. So the physical body is only the Panchabhutas, 5 parts. Astral body is having 19 parts, and then the one is the soul, Chitta. That is the soul. Together is the 25 parts that we learned, right? So that's what he's saying. During the waking state, this breath form or this everything is there with the doer. But when you are sleeping, the breath form may go out in the astral world, and then it can get energies or it can experience the different things. So with the age, so we are assuming that with the age, the human form will change. With the form, the breath form grows old, but because of man's thinking, he is saying, because of the man's thinking, he is getting old. By different thinking, If you say that I will never become old, I will always be like this, I'm so happy, I'm so energetic, I can do 100 years the same way. If you think, if you can kept young forever, and you can exempt even from the death. That's what he's saying. This is all your thinking only. The breath form is for communication of the doer with the nature of the body mind. The breath form is communication to the doer to the body mind. And the animals do not have this breath form. They do not think. Animals do not think. Then here is the question. Whenever I get this question, right, because I have a pet at my home, I always feel that they are able to think, because they act according to our instructions. Whenever I come, it acted like, okay, it is getting fear, oh, it will be like a disciplined kind of thing. So when it cannot think, how it is acting, how it is actually, how we are feeling that it is thinking, right? What he is saying is, because it is with the human beings, your breath form is acting on them. Your breath form, your thoughts, you want them, you want it to be like by such and such a time it has to come, because your clock, your breath form is acting on them, but it doesn't have the breath form, or it doesn't have the thinking on its own. They do not have, their desires are automatically just the food and those needs only, right? But sometimes you feel it is able to think, it is acting like a human being. How? Because of your form, because it will act as per your things only, because it is staying with you. If it is staying with somebody else, it will act according to them, if you observe that also, right? So it is acting according to our breath form, not on their own. Okay, the desires of animals are automatically put directly in touch with the nature, because nature, four senses, it will desire. So with nature will take care of those things with their smell, with all the four senses, right? Animals feels desires with the portion of feeling and desire of the doer cast after the death, which animates the type of the animal. While having modified characteristics of human beings, animals are relieved from restrictions of the human thinking according to human custom. Whatever our thinking only, it all depends upon our thinking only. Animals, we feel that they are also thinking. It depends on the senses of our nature, senses and relationship of the doer only, it is actually happening. Thinking would inhibit their immediate response to the impressions. After death, what will happen to the breath form? So it will again go back in the radiant state. After death, the breath form remains for a while with the doer, but later it will get separated after death. The doer in its breath form unit are in touch with out of touch at the various times after death. At the end of the heaven period, the breath form or the form of the breath unit are out of phase and is a quotient. Quotient in the sense it is in a dormant phase. Once that heaven phase or purgatory period, we call it as heaven or hell. It is all that feeling, right? So once you went as a soul, once you become a pure soul, so you look back, what is the purpose of my life? Why I went to the earth plane? Did I finish? Once you feel that, oh, I finished my job, I did more than I expected, because you wanted to do some 10 things. But after you going to the earth plane, you did 20 things. You feel so good about yourself because you did all the things that you are supposed to do. So then you'll go to heaven. That is the heaven. Go to heaven in the sense, that feeling. But you came to for some purpose, but here you killed the people, you killed the animals, you killed so much things, you did all kinds of nonsense things in the earth plane. You forget about your purpose. Then see, oh my God, I wasted the entire life. I wasted my human body, entire human body. That guilt feeling is a hell. Okay, once that whatever that you actually gone through that period in the purgatory period, then you will be in your breath form is in the dormant state until you take the next life. When it is a time for the next life, the AA stimulates the breath again, the AA unit within that breath again, it revives, and then it will again come to the form plane from the as a ember, like as a sparkle of the light, right? It will again come to the then again goes into the somebody's breath, and again it goes to that particular cell and it will come to the physical form. So that's how the earth again it starts into the thing. So I'll stop here because of the want of the time. I stopped at 159 page, I guess. Okay. Deepika.
Wonderful, wonderful session. It was so interesting, Prasanna. It's so nice to learn about AIA, how it enters, where it exists, what does it do. Wonderful. The one thing you said that how do we reach that AIA by self-checking and doing the just checking on ourselves continuously, constantly, then we develop. So that was a takeaway for me. Please expand AIA. Ramakrishna sir is asking.
Yeah, AIA, the expansion is like I told you, right? AIA is nothing but it is a subconscious or whatever it is, right? That is the form. I'll give you exactly. Please go ahead. I'll give you thing.
Yes, friends, you can unmute and share your thoughts or your experiences, your suggestions. And
Yeah,
also, I would like to
beautiful.
ask, how convenient are you with the timings and the day? Is it okay to continue on the Thursday, or you prefer Fridays? You can just give your opinions, or you can even do it in the WhatsApp group. How do you feel, Ranjani Garu, and who else is there? Rajini Garu, Suryakala ma'am. Works fine. Okay, thank you, sir.